But in the case of Shedeur, and I do think family and background and name and Dion has something to do with this. And I'm not saying that out of joy or pleasure. I'm just saying, with no bias here, let's read the situation, right? Teams passed on Shedeur, like not just once and twice, but over and over again because of the overall situation. Either the player isn't what they were promoted to be, or the situation is more difficult than people might expect it to be. Is there some baggage that you take on with Shedeur? Yeah, and a lot of players have baggage. Nobody's perfect. Let's also declare that. There are a lot of other star players who get drafted in high situations, and they've got something else that comes with them that you're not really pleased about, or you maybe don't like their attitude or personality. Forget Shedeur. I'm talking about everybody else here. With Shedeur, though, maybe you do understand that there are some things that he brings to the table, but there's also some others you are unwilling to navigate through. And so I think it could be as simple as that. Now, this is the NFL draft. If there really is a good enough player out there that could change your franchise, you do not pass on that. You do not miss on that. You should see how much work, and I think everybody understands this, how much work goes into every sporting draft with respective leagues and teams and their scouting departments. And it's like so much, I say overwork. I don't know what the word is. There is so much extra, almost maybe even borderline unnecessary work that goes into picking the right players for the draft. And so what I'm saying here is that if a team could benefit from Shedeur and they're like, why would everybody else do this? There's a reason that they all delayed and stalled and passed a multitude of times. I do want to say, I think the prank phone calls that he got, the one that we know about, was terrible. And I don't want to get into the weeds and all the details there of how the phone number was revealed, and you've obviously already all seen exactly how that played out, and the apology and the fine that's been given. But that's about as low as it gets. And I honestly I saw the video of him receiving that phone call and how he handled it. That was pretty good. Now, all the other stuff of the gold chains and the partying already, and again, if you're Cleveland, you're probably like, what exactly did we get ourselves into here? You just want somebody who's going to be a good team player, right? You don't want the whole extra show that comes along with this, and maybe it'll all calm down and settle down, and once Shedeur gets into an NFL training camp situation, maybe it all simmers down, right? But at least as of right now, man, it's just, there's a lot going on. And he's not the only one. We are in a brand new era of NIL deals with college athletes, and they're already receiving money and endorsements, and they've got to have a social media profile. Like, Shedeur is not the first at all. He won't be the last either to come into the NFL with some background and some stuff. But I do think, and you know what I heard when there was the controversy about Travis Hunter and Shedeur getting their numbers retired by Colorado like a couple weekends ago. They hadn't even been drafted into the NFL yet, and their numbers were already getting retired. Colorado had a total of 4 numbers retired for their football program in 122 years, and then they just added 2 more. And not even years down the road, like it was only months ago they played their last college game. Anyway, there was some criticism about Shedeur being a part of that. And Dion went to the podium to say, well, if his last name wasn't Sanders, none of this would even be a conversation. But also to the point, maybe if his last name wasn't Sanders, I don't know that the number retirement, the jersey retirement, would ever be happening. And number 2, would certainly be happening at this expedited pace. So I know I've gone on here quite long on this, but I do just want to say that when a player like that slips a few spots, no big deal. Might be something minor going on. Somebody saw something. But when a player like that slips multiple rounds and has multiple teams continue to pass and continue to go in a different direction, there's obviously something there. And I'm not saying this in any joy or appreciation. And look, he is still in the NFL. And he is still going to make a decent amount of money, not as much as he was going to make as a top 10 pick and a big contract and some guaranteed money right out of the gate. But you know what? I think he has said this, that time is going to prove him right. And he's got some faith that it's going to take him, everything's going to take him the right direction. We'll see. Time is going to tell us here if all these teams were right in what they did or if they were absolutely wrong. If the price is right, do you think Sternberg will sell to the group of Tampa investors who can privately fund a new stadium? Well, that's an interesting situation too. I don't know much about that Tampa group, but didn't we just have this in Oakland where there were some individuals who said, hey, I might want to buy the team, and then it's kind of maybe advised that we don't really want to talk about that. Like we don't want you to cloud the issue or confuse people, so just lay low. And maybe that's what a Tampa group is doing, laying low, because they don't want to step on anybody's toes. But I'll tell you this. I don't think Stuart Sternberg cares at all if this team is in Tampa or St. Pete or Orlando or Montreal. It was only a couple years ago that the Rays officially declared St. Pete not viable for year-round or season-long Rays baseball profits, basically. And they suggested, we need to play half our season in Montreal again. Not again, but like a team needs to be in Montreal, as in the Expos moving to D.C. to become the Nats. My point is, I don't think when you say the price is right, yeah, the price is the only thing that matters here. And sorry, John, I'm not like pointing you out there. I'm just saying, like, Stuart Sternberg only cares if he really is going to sell. I don't think location matters. Dollars matter. Some owners might say, and I've kind of got this sense from like the Twins ownership group, and the Pohlad family is selling the Twins, but they really want to vet the buyer, and they really understand that the buyer's going to have a large responsibility in taking this over and keeping the team in the Twin Cities and making sure that not a lot changes and that fans are still happy. But I don't get that same feeling with Stuart Sternberg. Again, he's already considered moving this team and splitting this team's time in cities. He doesn't care about the city. He'll just only care about, how much am I making off this sale? Or how does the future look? Jay bets the Angels move to Las Vegas. I get what you're saying, right? Like Artie Moreno upset about the stadium situation, trying to buy the land, looking over at Honda Center, which they just pumped in $1 billion into apparently, and OC vibes surrounding it. Why can't I get that, he says. But I don't think that Artie Moreno in his right mind would ever move a Los Angeles market team out of the Los Angeles market, literally number 2 market in the United States, to move to a number 40 market? Not possible, not going to happen. Now, could the Angels move out of Anaheim for a different spot in Southern California, the Los Angeles area? And by the way, how does everybody feel about it? The Los Angeles Angels, they've gone on long enough on this. This is a value thing. It's a valuation thing. They're trying to be called something that they're adjacent to. They're not really in Los Angeles. They're in Southern California. But they're trying to make their team more valuable, right? Pump it up by calling it the Los Angeles Angels. And I understand what the mayor has been saying about, you're a valuable commodity to us. We want you to wear our name proudly. Or you know what? Go back to being called the California Angels. Like, look at it this way. You could be called the Orange County Angels. That'd be fine. The Orange Angels. That would be weird. Anaheim Angels. That's where the city you play in. Los Angeles, you don't play there. That doesn't work. Go back to being the California Angels. You do play in California as a state. It's what the Golden State Warriors did back in the day. Do you know why the Golden State Warriors are called that? There was a season where they played a couple of their games down in San Diego. The attendance here in the Bay Area, believe it or not, in whatever decade that was that in the 60s or 70s? Wasn't going so well. So they split it up. They moved the team around. We're now called the Golden State Warriors, and they've kept it ever since. And they didn't have to change their name when they moved from San Francisco to Oakland and then back to San Francisco. Just be called the California Angels. Actually, if you're Artie Moreno, well, I guess Los Angeles covers the entire area, but what if they moved to Long Beach? If they moved to Long Beach, could they be called the Los Angeles Angels still? Probably not. But maybe. I think California Angels would suit them better. Do I think a UFL expansion team will come to Oakland? I just don't know the logistics of using the Coliseum again as a football stadium and the value and cost of that. If you're saying where else would they play, that's another question. I don't know what the other idea is, but at some point they're going to have to, within the next 5 to 7 years, figure out what to do with the Coliseum. I should make a video on this. I should go deeper into this. Now that it's vacant, and I know what you're saying. Well, the Roots play there, and they're about to have some cricket tests there. Is it a cricket? No, am I right on that? They're about to have some cricket at the Coliseum too. No, they're going to use it, and they'll use it for concerts, but eventually they've got to kind of figure out kind of what happened to the arena right next door. All right, they have concerts and events there, and it has a busy calendar. But I don't know if there's a stadium tour or a stadium situation that could keep the Coliseum as busy as the arena has been, right? So they just need to figure that part out. The last thing you want to do is have that place be shuttered and unused, and that's when things really start falling apart. You can't go too many summers without giving that place use before it becomes more expensive to keep than actually to run the place. So hopefully they figure out a long-term solution of what to do with the Coliseum. Ultimately, I think we know the end game for it is to probably not be around or be downsized heavily or to be totally gutted and renovated and remodeled, but we'll exactly see what's going on there. Alden, do I follow F1 at all? I don't. And it's nothing like personal about it. There's nothing that I just don't like about it. It's not that. It's just the bandwidth that I have. And I'll say this, Alden, soccer for me, like I would love to pick a Chelsea season, right? And just watch them start to finish and watch how their season goes and DVR their matches and maybe wake up a little bit early on the weekends to watch them, but not like super early. And I say that every fall, like I'm going to start doing it. And I don't have the mental bandwidth to follow all this and run a YouTube channel and work for the Sharks and be a dad and have some free time and try and learn golf. So I guess, I'm trying to say here, it's not that I wouldn't, it's just that I don't right now. And maybe when I get older, that's what I say about everything. I'll have more time in a couple of years. And then I don't. I grew up a Chicago White Sox fan, but they've quit on the fans and maybe relocating. Should I root for the Cubs? Wow. Andy, we fall into a very similar category. A dual market city, right? Chicago, North Side Cubs, South Side White Sox, same as it used to be here in the Bay Area. East Bay A's, San Francisco Giants, Peninsula Giants. And I understand what you're saying in that one of the two teams in your market is sprinting. The Cubs are sprinting and trying to do everything the right way and trying to win. I was going to say White Sox. The right way and White Sox got me tangled there. And the White Sox on the south side are doing what? Losing a modern day record of games, 120 plus losses last year? And then not doing much in free agency and saying, we're gonna trot that same team back out there again. We're gonna run it back with the same White Sox. I get it. You're already feeling dismayed. Now you're feeling maybe disrespected as a fan. I'll put it to you this way. Why not? If you can love something long enough and you give them every last chance to do the right things, and then to your point, all right, they want to move to that new site, the 78, the neighborhood spot, which on the South Loop would be a tremendous ballpark location for the Chicago White Sox. But pay for it yourself or pay for most of it. Make this actually happen. The Bears are trying to do their own thing. The White Sox are trying to do their own thing, but they're both hoping for public subsidies. Make this happen, Chicago White Sox. Get your new ballpark, compete with the Cubs, be a legitimate team in Chicago. It's time to stop being the little brother, the little sibling, right? You can do this. And until that point, what would the Cubs do if they were that team and they wanted something new or they wanted to fix up Wrigley Field? They fixed up Wrigley Field, totally overhauled the place and bought up some land around it and some real estate around it. But my point is, it's okay at some point to look at your team that you've loved and maybe you've been raised on and maybe it's been passed on to you and just to say, I can't do this anymore. I've tried. And I'll show you the math of how I've tried. And I'll show you the math of how you've let me down. It's okay at some point to jump ship. Honestly, it is. Should you root for the Cubs is your question? Only your heart knows. But if it feels right, now, look, we're not even at the point where the team has actually officially threatened relocation or the whole parallel paths thing. I mean, you get to that point, absolutely it's fine to just pass and move on. It stinks. Maybe that's what they want you to do. But if your heart can't take it, Andy, then your heart can't take it. That's my advice. Hey, Brody, do you have any advice for someone wanting to start their own YouTube sports channel? Yes, I do. Start today. There's so many people that want to get into media and broadcasting, and I've been speaking with some lately. And they want to get into the traditional roles and work for a company, work for a team, and I get that, totally. How do you do that? Well, you get better. How do you do that? Repetition. How do you do that? Start a YouTube channel. Look, I'm not saying you need all this. You do not need all these bells and whistles. You don't need the voice guy. You don't need, here's Brody Brazil. You don't need that. Do you have, by the way, I should check my messages. I've been live streaming here for a while. I'll only have a few. There's my wife texting me. Do you have, boy, that's bright. Do you have a phone? Do you have a computer that you can edit on? Maybe would you be willing to purchase like a microphone for that phone, like a Rode wireless wireless. You could probably do a hardwired one, a wireless one, whatever you want. Just make it sound better. Maybe a small lighting kit. You could do all this for, and I'm not saying, oh, you got to spend $200, but for $200, you could do it. You could make it look really, really good. Nice background. You don't need this. A curtain will do. Start your YouTube channel. Start talking about sports. Come up with the 20 topics, the 20 ideas, the videos I do here on my channel. They don't just come to me. Some do. I mean, some are obvious I should do this, but I have to go out and kind of think about what am I going to do here? I have to constantly be thinking, how do I get well-versed on this topic to know what to say about it, the opinions on it? Some things speak to me. Other things I feel like I have to go out and dig into to speak on it. But the point is, go out and start your YouTube channel right now. That's your repetition. That's your resume. That's your demo reel. That's your audition. People are going to want to see how you look and sound. Now, that's for somebody who wants to get into broadcasting. I know, Eric, your comment here is, do you have any advice for somebody wanting to start? Yeah, start now. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to sound good, right? People hate when it sounds terrible. People hate, like, if all my videos sounded like this, you probably want to tune out right now, right? So don't do your videos in the bathroom. Don't do it. Oh, Canada, our home and native land. Oops. You didn't need that either. But yeah, make it sound decent enough. Do the best job you can with lighting and framing it up. So make it tasteful, right? Appealing to watch. And then your content. Work on it. Your repetition. Start. Do not think about it. Start. And it's going to grow very slowly. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to want 500 subscribers and 5,000. Just focus on your work. And then do it over and over again. Repetition is everything. Any chance of an MLB franchise in Mexico City? Very possible. I think, though, at this point, other leagues are talking about expansion, right? For the NBA, probably Seattle and Las Vegas. For the NHL, maybe Houston, maybe going back to Arizona, maybe Atlanta again. But those leagues are like ready to do it, ready to move. The NFL, same thing. I think the NFL, if you ask me, is the NFL ready to go to Mexico City? Probably. Maybe one team in Mexico City, one team in Europe, or a couple teams in Europe, the international division. But I just don't know if MLB is ready to expand. And they've already got two teams kind of up in the air geographically. The Sacramento situation and obviously the Tampa situation. So I just don't know, like on paper, yeah, seems like a good idea. But realistically, when they look in the mirror, I don't know that this is a possibility at all. What if MLB buys the A's and sells them to Utah and also buys the Rays and sells them like Orlando like the NHL did with the Coyotes? Oh, Idaho Rail fan. That's like, you make a very astute comment there, because that's what the NHL did with the Desert Dogs, the Coyotes. They went down there and said, enough is enough. We can't continue on this path. You don't have any conclusions in Arizona. We got a group ready to go right now in Salt Lake City, Smith Entertainment Group, and Ryan Smith, Ryan and Ashley. We're not even going to let you sell it to them. To make this even easier, we're going to buy it from you. We'll pay you. You're done. And we'll give you another team if you can produce an arena in 5 years. We'll take care of you too. We're going to buy you out, turn around, sell it to the Smith Entertainment Group. So that's an interesting proposition, Rail fan. But I don't think Major League Baseball is even to the point yet of forcing the A's or Rays into a sale. I know it's been more heavily rumored with the Rays that there is some pressure to get something done or sell the team to somebody else who can get it done. But I don't know if baseball would be in the position to do what the NHL did. See, the NHL feels like it's got a little bit more. When I say a backbone, I'm not trying to be insulting to baseball, but the NHL has more of a backbone of like, we need to do something. We're going to do this. We're going to get this done. We're going to do it the hard way. Whatever it takes, we're going to get this done. It's kind of like hockey players. They're gritty. They get things done, even if it's not pretty and it's hard, they do it. In baseball, like, yeah, that would be the easiest thing to do. Solve the problem. Hey, we don't even care. We're not worried about who you sell it to, but we just want to get this off your hands and we'll figure it out. We'll do all the hard work. But we just don't want to continue down this path. I don't see that happening for baseball the same way it did for hockey. But as I look back on how the NHL handled that, and I never wanted to see the Coyotes leave Arizona. I hope that's clear. I think that's clear. I think most people on my channel understand that. But at least the way the NHL went about it, in doing it the cleanest way possible, they actually did a good job with it. I do have to say that.